My name is Rafi Finegold. I'm CEO and founder of Handily, and we are a platform that allows homeowners to video chat with home improvement pros on demand.
I'm Gardner with _VC. I'm a general partner there, and we're a pre-seed and seed venture capital firm based right here in Boston.
My name is Prithvi Tanwar. I'm a partner at Polsinelli. It's a big national law firm.
What are good milestones, and how would you form those milestones?
The challenge with milestones, and we're seeing it right now, is that they tend to be a bit of a moving target. In 2020, what you needed to raise a pre-seed round was a good background. Maybe you started a company before and you've got a reasonably good idea, and people would throw money at you, and you could raise a Series Seed if you had a customer, and Series A if you're a multi-time founder, you could probably even raise that without a whole lot of traction. And over time, I think it reverts to mean, people would say, hey, look, we'd like to see it for seed companies raising a seed. We'd like to see maybe a little early revenue, certainly some early product, a couple customers and pilots or beyond. Series A, I'm somewhere between $1 million, and it's kind of edging towards $2 million in revenue now, and then it kind of goes up from there. Pre-seed and seed milestones tend to be more about early product build and early customer wins, right? Kind of proving it to yourself. And then as soon as you start to get to Series A, B, and C, it tends to be much more metrics driven. Mm-hmm. In your case, if you've never raised any money, I think, before, and I don't actually know the Handily background well enough, but if you haven't raised any money, you don't have any customers yet, I think it's a reasonable milestone to have, MVP plus kind of product, a handful of customers using it. In the case of a B2C business, a handful, could probably be something closer to 100 or something. People that are kind of playing with it in kind of beta mode, and some contractors on this, on the back end. But just so you can show the whole experience and feel like, you've got some traction, and you've demonstrated the beginnings of how you'll acquire customers and perhaps the contractor participants in your ecosystem. That feels, relatively good to me. And you may have grown from being a one-man shop to having 4 or 5 people working on it.
I would say it's defensible inflection points, Rafi. It's where you are able to say, look, I've arrived at point X, and point X is different from point Y. And this is why I'm more valuable today, right? And actually this kind of goes right into how do you fundraise, right? During this time, one of the biggest issues I see from founders is they're like, oh, well, Prithvi, I'm raising $3 million. And I'm like, whoa, slow it, slow your roll. Like, can you slice that? Can you slice that down to like 300K, 500K, And that's where you kind of parse, where you say, okay, I'm going to take 300K, I'm going to put my head down, and I'm going to be back, in 5 months, and maybe try to raise another 300K or another 500K at that point at a stepped up valuation. And again, it also kind of goes to how you're going to raise, right? Are you going to do an equity round of financing, which is what you will often see with institutional investors, or are you going to use the convertible instruments like convertible note or a SAFE that's out there? And the biggest difference, I will tell you, is a convertible note and a SAFE. It is probably the only time where the founder and the company team can drive that process. For an equity round of financing, the investor is going to run that process, right? So again, it's having a strategy, showing up, saying, okay, I'm going to basically slice the raise into kind of manageable pieces. I'm going to create like these milestones, if you will. So and then kind of go back into the market. I think founders can really action that much better.
I think since you're a product guy too, I was talking mostly about pre-seed and seed, really early stage companies. But of course, as you get beyond that, it's not just revenue, but it's the achievement of the magical product market fit too, right? And that's when you realize, okay, I'm building something that people want, and instead of you having to push it into the market, it starts to get pulled, and then you have to start to think about scaling. That usually happens kind of post Series A or in and around that area. That's the obvious goal, because then you can start thinking about scaling. And that's a different skill set than the very, very early stuff, right? Sometimes it requires different people, but certainly requires different go-to-market skills, different company building skills, all that stuff.